I can't sit by and watch this woman destroy my child anymore.
Kenzie, you know how this goes. She's just being mean and rude like she always is.
Do it.
After game face on,
Come paddle me. Let's just get it over with quicker.
please, that's a visual I do not want to see.
Get your finger out of my face.
Because I didn't mean to do that either.
You had too much to drink. You better settle it down, bitch. Stop, bitch.
What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. My name is Toni Brianne, and in today's video we will be discussing the very controversial show Dance Moms and everything wrong with it. I feel like my blaze looks really big. Let's see if I unbutton it, if that helps, because I feel like it's just not giving what I wanted it to give. But I have a small little top on, so I don't want to expose too much of my skin. Let's just get a little bit closer maybe, because I'm trying to give classy. We're not trying to have all the girls hanging out and just not looking like... Please, guys, don't judge me if I have... I'm really trying here. Okay. All right. Does the hair look good? Do I look good, y'all? Let me know, okay? So, guys, this video, literally, I did so much research on it. Though being a very avid fan of Dance Moms, having to look back at 8 seasons worth of clips is literally insane, but I finally did it, and I'm so excited to do this video. I was dreading to do this video because I know there's so much to say about the show and the series in general. I finally have a synopsis of what needs to be said, and yeah, without further ado, guys, let's get straight into this video. So the show Dance Moms first aired back in 2011 and ended in 2019 with a span of 8 seasons. The show first began with a group of 5 mothers and their daughters, and then of course the dance teacher Abby Lee Miller. So the original cast consisted of Kelly Hyland and her 2 daughters Brooke and Paige, Holly Frazier and her daughter Nia Sue, Christy Lukasiak, which I'm just realizing I've never said that last name out loud. This is my first time saying it, but I hope I'm pronouncing it right. But Christy and then her daughter Chloe, Melissa Jasoni and her 2 daughters, Maddie Ziegler and Mackenzie Ziegler. And some honorable mentions of some of the girls that got very well known off the show that came on in later seasons is JoJo Siwa and her mom Jesselyn, Jill Vertes and her daughter Kendall Vertes, which is why I said 5 original members, because Kendall came about in season 2, but she basically feels like an original member at this point. Kira Gerard and her daughter Kalani Hilliker, Christy Ray, who was the mother of Asia Monet, who was just on the show for a little bit, but Asia even ended up having a spinoff. But those are just a few of the people that came about on the show. We all know there were so many more infamous people that came on the show as well, but I would be sitting here all day if I decided to name all of them. The show was definitely infamous, and to this day has TikTok sounds that trend on a regular basis, and even led some of the girls to very infamous careers where they're still profiting off of the show to this day. The girls now have millions of followers, sponsorships and deals, and basically anything a young girl could dream of. But what if I told you they got all these opportunities at a price? Everything that glitters isn't gold, and as we all know, things that we've seen as entertainment on Dance Moms were quite traumatic, and there were a lot of issues behind it. In this video, I'll be breaking down everything wrong with Dance Moms and why some of the girls to this day won't even speak about the show or their experience on the show. So without further ado, let's get straight into number 1, and that has to do with Maddie always being number 1. So if you've ever seen the show Dance Moms, I'm sure you know that Maddie Ziegler was always Abby Lee Miller's number 1 girl. Though Maddie was incredibly talented and did always win at all their dance competitions, Abby made sure her favoritism towards Maddie was blatant, and this was traumatic not only for the girls, but also Maddie. It was to a point where many of the moms and the girls felt that Abby only showed pure intentions and attention to Maddie. Take a look at these few clips of Abby showing pure favoritism towards Maddie.
The first person on top of the pyramid is Maddie. And the second person on top of the pyramid is also Maddie. This week, my eyes are going to be on Maddie. It's going to be her that gets the correction or her that gets reprimanded. You need to get into the groove, and you need to be my number 1 girl out there every week again. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. Once again, I counted on Maddie, and she won. The moms, they're jealous of Maddie. This is Maddie's time to shine, and they don't understand that. So vehemently jealous of Maddie. It's sickening. Maddie worked a whole lot harder, and they won. she won.
As I've stated previously, many of the girls do not speak about the show anymore because they felt very traumatized by it. But Maddie is one person that it's very clear she does not even want to discuss the show. And that is due to Maddie having severe PTSD from her time on the show and also gaining lots of anxiety. There was one episode in season 2 where Maddie forgot her dance and had a full-blown panic attack. And Maddie was probably 9 at this time. Take a look at this clip.
Never got to say a goodbye. We never sat down and cried and watched
No, Abby's gonna freak out. I want to go again. Never done this before. Can I please go again? Please, please. Abby's gonna hate me.
I'm not surprised that Maddie forgot her dance. I think that Melissa and Abby both put way too much pressure on that kid. And Abby wants Maddie to be her winner, but she doesn't care that she's gonna burn the kid out.
Abby's gonna hate me.
She is not. Baby, look at me.
She's gonna hate me. I've never done this. I've never done this.
The craziest part about this clip is that Abby did not even react negatively towards the fact that Maddie forgot her dance.
I'm looking at Abby, and she's sitting over there crying hysterically. Let me think. Nia forgot her solo, Abby didn't cry. Paige forgot her solo, Abby didn't cry. Chloe forgot her solo, Abby didn't cry. Maddie forgets her solo, it's waterworks.
Now, Maddie did not expect this from Abby, and that's probably because she saw the way she constantly treated the other girls whenever they forgot their dance or made a mistake. So the next clip I'm about to show you is Maddie's mother, Melissa, saying that Maddie always feels the need to be perfect, and then this is when Abby comes in and consoles Maddie. I mean, she definitely should be doing this, but she only consoles Maddie. Just take a look at this and watch how the mothers react.
Dance isn't that important, Maddie.
Yes, it is.
But it's not your whole life. Well, it is your whole life, and it shouldn't be. This is way too much pressure.
It's really hard when your daughter's crying, saying she's a failure, and she's 9 years old. It really breaks your heart.
Abby's not gonna hate you, Maddie.
I mean, but wait, I don't want to make excuses. Every kid forgets their dance. That's not the deal.
She thinks you hate her.
Sorry.
Aw, see, she thinks you hate her. See, I told you she doesn't hate you. Maddie, it's not your fault, honey. You were such a fabulous kid.
You know what? Those kids that have perfect runs and win everything with their kids, where are they now? They don't even dance anymore. The kids that still have something to shoot for and something to win, they're the ones that are working. She screwed up just like everybody else.
I didn't see any tears from you, Abby, when my kid ran off the stage, okay? So point noted. It's a horrific...
I don't care.
Other students, every other kid in that room has had that same experience. They all could have used a dance teacher who cared about them.
Any child being on stage and forgetting their dance is humiliating.
And it's happened to all of
And
us.
it's happened to everyone.
But she even said to Maddie, she
They
said
all
she didn't
forgot
care
for a reason.
and she didn't want any excuses. She could care less.
Yeah, but there was not a tear shed for another child in this company. That's my issue. These are children. And you cry for whatever reason for one child and not the other. They all hurt the same.
And the kids know.
It's not the way she teaches for all. There's a double standard. There's a different system.
Why don't you care that all the other kids forgot their dances? But you care for Maddie?
You can literally see the pure sadness in the girls' eyes, seeing the way that Maddie was comforted by their dance teacher. And it was not because they were jealous or disliked Maddie, it was because they never received the same treatment. You could even see Chloe at a very young age feeling sorry for Maddie and saying that they all have gone through that.
And I just feel so bad because I know exactly how it feels. We've all done it by now. Nobody's perfect.
So obviously Abby compared the girls to Maddie all the time. She always made it clear that Maddie was the best and Maddie was better than them. But the most shocking fact is that Abby would even use Mackenzie's little sister as a target whenever she would compare Maddie. Take a look at this clip.
When Maddie dances, she's a breath of fresh air. You're like the stuff we spray in the bathroom. There's a difference.
We all know when it comes to siblings, you should never compare the two because it can be very tumultuous and toxic towards those siblings. As a sibling, it's already a lot seeing your older sibling or your younger sibling getting certain opportunities because you guys kind of share the same families, you guys share the same background. So if you don't get something and they do, it kind of affects you a bit more. And I'm saying this knowing as a sister or a younger sister at that. And I was always compared to my sister when I was younger, and mainly towards the fact that I was more chatty. I didn't really get into trouble at school unless it was for talking, but it'd always be like, oh, your sister's so quiet. Why can't you be like that? And things of that sort. And it always bothered me because I always had something to say. So it was kind of hard for me to control my mouth, but being compared was just never ever okay. And seeing the amount of times Abby did it blatantly to Mackenzie's face, she didn't even do it behind her back, is astounding. I just don't think that was okay, and it could really affect a kid's self-esteem. So that was just a taste of how Abby would constantly ridicule the other girls and make Maddie seem like the best. You could always see the discomfort when it came to Maddie whenever she would do that. And Maddie has always expressed that it did make her feel uncomfortable. At the end of the day, those were her friends, so it just did not feel right. But she didn't want to go against her dance teacher either. But the whole Maddie spectacle, I feel, held the other girls back. And once again, it just formed trauma. It was not helpful towards the girls at all in helping them become a better dancer if they're constantly being compared. I do believe there's such thing as healthy competition, and I do think that seeing someone perform better may make you want to perform better. But at a certain point, when you're constantly being told you'll never be like this person, I would shut down too and not want to be a dancer either. Moving on to number 2, yelling. This has to do not just with Abby, but with the mothers as well. The women constantly yelled, constantly fought, and they would do this in front of the children at some times. One of the most shocking clips that touched reality television was on Dance Moms when there was an altercation in front of the children. This scene was probably one of the biggest and most explosive fights on the show in general. Please take a look at this clip. It's shocking and mind-boggling.
Brooke, is your mother
But we come as a team. We're all leaving.
Brooke, is your mother speaking for you? Do you not want to dance? I just want your mother to quit speaking for you. You're 15 years old. Grow the hell up.
You know what? You shut the hell up.
See how she talks to me?
Abby, if you're not happy with my kid because she doesn't sit here and smart mouth you and say something back, we will leave.
That's fine.
Kelly, why? I'm
You know
just
what?
asking.
Don't even
I'm
speak
just
to me.
asking.
Don't even speak to me.
Oh, why can't I speak to you?
Because I don't want to speak to you.
We're coming into this all new. And so I just want to know what we're getting into.
A bully for a teacher. Here's your costumes. Enjoy the dance.
It's
Highlands. Let's go.
Kelly, we don't want you to go. The girls do. You guys
Well,
don't want to go.
obviously she wants someone who has never danced here take both of my kids' place.
No, the kids want to dance.
doesn't.
Brooke says she
Did I
wants to
hear
dance.
that? No,
Did you just sit here and say that my daughter looks miserable, so maybe we should put Kalani in her place?
No, I never said that.
Yes, you most certainly
No,
did.
I didn't, dingbat. Listen, I said, Brooke, is your mother
Get
speaking
your
for
finger
you? Do you
out
want to
of
be
my face.
Girls out the room.
Yeah, you
Girls
would eat
out
me.
the room. Out the room.
Get away from me.
Out the room. Girls out of the room.
Who do you
right
think you
now.
are?
Girls out of the room.
nuts.
All of you
No,
out
you're
of
nuts.
the
You're
room.
nuts.
Now, out of the room. Maddie, you too. All of you out of the room. No. All
She's
of you.
crazy.
Out of you.
No, I'm not crazy. You're eating my face.
Gotta get out of the room. Girls gotta get out of the room. No, absolutely not.
Let's call the police right now.
Go ahead. You were coming at me.
I was not looking. I was over this way.
That's ridiculous. You know what? That's ridiculous. Just 1 second. Just a second.
You guys, I still watch this clip to this day because it's jaw-dropping, but if you remove entertainment purposes aside and actually look at the fear on the kids' faces, it's appalling. The only person that spoke up to get the girls out of the room was Holly, who repeatedly said, girls out the room, girls out the room.
Girls out the room.
Yeah, you
Girls
would eat
out
me.
the room.
No one else was saying anything. It just shows the amount of abuse that these girls went through. And abuse does not have to be physical abuse, but emotional abuse. And they were so young at this time, so I can't with this clip. So in some instances, the girls were even dragged into the arguments that their mothers would have with their dance teacher. This one fight, once again between the same women, Kelly and Abby, was shocking when Abby decides to throw a chair at a child and then also bring that child, Paige, into the argument. And once again, you can see how frazzled she looks at such a young age. And Paige is my age now. I believe she's like 21, 22. But guys, just watch this and please pay attention to how she dragged a child into the argument that she was having with her mother when she could have stepped outside and handled this as an adult.
All right. Solo, Get your chair. Let's go.
Paige needs her chair. Paige needs her chair.
Okay, go.
It's all done.
You're just doing it now. Didn't you take that home last night? Told her to take the chair. As soon as the chair came into the room and I touched it, and I saw that my hands were black with marker, I knew right then and there her mother, Kelly, left the chair in the studio. Dingbat.
Oh, look, she's looking to see if it's...
Where are the stoppers? I wanted these rubber stoppers.
I'll have them for the competition.
No stoppers. I mean, really? This is important, Kelly. Do something. Done.
You, Abby.
You don't need them for the competition. I told you to do it for today. But look at that language. Doesn't that embarrass you? That she has to use language like that? That's what a truck driver uses.
Why would she do that to Paige?
You're finished. Next. Who's solo?
Why are you punishing Paige? Abby should have left the room, came and spoke to me, and I would have explained to her why she had no stoppers on her chair. Because I was busy doing Abby Lee Miller's job, making her costumes.
Oh, go get paid.
You know what, Abby? We're done. You're not doing a solo. Neither of my kids are doing a group dance.
That's fine.
Okay?
That's fine.
Good luck paying your bills without my tuition. I pay for costumes and props, and I don't get them. I've been here all day making costumes for you while you were down the road eating. Stop eating. That's why you're fat. Goodbye.
You were a mean girl when you were 12. You're still a mean girl.
I want to go home.
We are. Paige was frightened because Abby is a 400-pound woman and threw a chair with my daughter in the room.
You can credit me for the rest of my tuition for the month. And rip off my credit card number.
It's just always shocking to see some of these arguments and fights happen, and the fact that they would do it so blatantly and use such derogatory terms and insult one another is appalling. And once again, you would see this on a regular basis. This is just one clip of many of Abby dragging the kids into the argument and saying that their mothers have foul mouths, when Abby wasn't much better herself. I mean, actually, Abby was a lot worse. So let's move on to number 3, and this has to do with the over-sexualization of the kids on the show. In season 1 of Dance Moms, the girls did a dance called Electricity. Many people believe that the dance was very suggestive and the girls were wearing very risque outfits. Now in dance, I do understand you have to wear smaller clothes and tighter clothes because it has to do with movement and you're wearing more constrained clothing. But honestly, I think this is more opinion based on this particular costume that the girls are wearing. I could see my mother, who's more conservative, being like, oh no, I thought it was just really cute dance costumes. But y'all just take a look at this clip and let me know what y'all think when it came to the costumes and if you felt that the girls were overly sexualized.
The group number Electricity is what I would refer to as West Coast jazz or LA jazz. It's hot, it's sassy. It's what you would see in a music video. The children need a challenge. They need something edgy. And 1, 2, turn those hands in. Right, more butt. It's all about the butt.
Where's the rest of her costume?
That's it. I need to spice it up.
I guess we're going for skin to win?
Yes. So French twist with the curls on top, 2 inches above the knee, bare legs, and use your double stick lingerie tape. I'm gonna give you the stones when we're finished with the fittings, and you can get stoning them. So you're good? You wanna send the next girl in, please?
Oh, Lord.
We're headed to Lancaster, Pennsylvania for a competition, and it's home of Amish buggies and bonnets. Our regular dance wear would cause a few people out in Lancaster to have a stroke, let alone these things.
Guys, we gotta wear stuff like this. Like when we were in Phoenix last weekend, everybody had outfits on like this. Oh. Showing off your sexy little bod.
I think it's too sexy. I absolutely think it's too sexy.
You know what, can we not use the word sexy? Can we just say skimpy?
You can say scandalous, you can say sassy. It is still too much for their age.
Chloe, let me ask you, how do you feel about the costume?
The other girls competing are probably going to be wearing, you know, gowns from head to toe, and here we come, naked.
Dance, baby, I just wanna dance, 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 dance. Can you feel it? Can you take it? Can you come embrace it? All this electricity.
So one thing I will say throughout the dance, I do think that some of the dance moves were a little bit suggestive for girls so young, but this one wasn't as bad as the next one I'm going to talk about. In season 2, the girls did a dance that was considered so risque that they called it off of air. This one was a bit much for me. The girls were kind of doing a Vegas style dance, and I don't even feel comfortable showing a clip of this. If y'all want to do the digging yourselves, I guess y'all could do that if you want. I personally would not have my daughters doing that dance, especially at 9 and 10 years old, but to each its own. But just know y'all, I'm very much not conservative. So if I'm saying it's a bit much, it gotta be a bit much, okay? Trust my word on that one. This particularly made me really question the morality of the producers and even Abby to put this on air and to even have the dance be shown to the judges. But I'm glad that it's now taken off air from a lot of complaints from viewers of the show. So also in season 2, the girls did a dance where they were wearing schoolgirl outfits and fishnet stockings. It was a bit much, and the moms expressed that they did think it was a bit much. Despite the mother's efforts to not have this dance be shown and showing their dismay, Abby was more concerned about the dance being cutting edge. Take a look at this clip.
Everybody up on the runway, go.
When Abby walks in with those costumes, all I'm thinking is this is like Prostitutes the sequel.
As a mom, I'm saying like bare midriffs and
fishnets and schoolgirls.
Right, it's just, it's over the top.
Well, I like fishnets. I think they're cute, but not with this.
I don't get the holes in the tights.
You don't need to get it. You're not judging.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. You have to understand, Leslie, I'm going with Peyton as the bully. She's older. She would be like the trashy, mean, bad girl that's up to no good at Catholic school. That's what I'm going for.
Bully and bad girl is different from trashy, Abby. Trashy means sleazy, slutty. She's 14. She's not, that's not what she's portraying, a bully. Not some sleaze in some strip joint.
I don't care what any of those moms say. It's my studio. It's my company, and they needed something cutting edge for this routine.
So aside from the mothers saying that they don't like the costume, it still went on stage, but they just did not wear any fishnets. But I still think it was a bit much. We all know that there is a lot of predators and people that are just sick that like that schoolgirl look. We all know that. I just wouldn't feel comfortable with my daughter wearing it because it just feels like you're trying to make them grown. Mind you, these girls were just between the ages of 8 and 14 when they did this dance. It's quite a lot. Now, there are some other clips of the girls when they got a little bit older that people felt the dances were a bit much when they were like 15, 16, sometimes even 14. I don't think those other dances were a lot, but I can see some people wanting to understand why the girls were having to wear certain costumes or do certain dances, but I do think it was preparing them for when they do get older, if they want to continue in dance, that they would be doing some roles like that where they have to be sexy and show a little bit of skin. But I don't know, to each its own. I think that's just on the comfort of the parents, but when they're like little girls, I'm not okay with that. And it was just a lot. There were a few instances where the girls were just wearing a little bit too little and shimmying a little bit too much. So moving on to my very next point, and that has to do with racism on the show. Yes. Racism. The show Dance Moms has quite the racist past and lots of cast members on the show being called out for their racism, but I'm not going to say too much on that because it has to do with some politics and I don't feel comfortable expressing my political beliefs right now, especially with me getting a job soon. We're not going to say too much on that, but I'm sure y'all are catching my drift, okay? With some of the moms, well, the moms and the daughters supporting certain people. That's a little bit questionable, but I'm going to give you guys some instances where some of the girls have come out and their mothers have come out about there being some racism throughout the series. So we're going to start off with Cameron, who was a little girl that came on Dance Moms when the show came back with a whole new cast. Cameron Smith from season 8 of Dance Moms, she was only on, I believe, 1 or 2 episodes, and her mother aired Abby out. And this actually got the show canceled because of Abby's racist allegations. So Cameron's mother came came out expressing her experience on the show and the things that her daughter and her had to deal with. So I'm gonna read the post and just say some things that she said that Abby has said to her, and you guys will be appalled. And honestly, I'm not too surprised about the statements that she made about Abby and some things that Abby has said, because Abby, which I'll get into a little bit later, has done some very questionable things on air. So I wouldn't be surprised what she says off air. But let's get into this. So Cameron's mother, Adriana Smith, I just realized I did not say her name at all, but Adriana Smith came out with this post speaking on her experience with Abby. I recently posted on my Facebook that racism is not something we can disagree on and still be friends, which in turn is why we are not friends. A statement from her, Abby, that sticks in my mind to this day during my time on Dance Moms Season 8 is, quote, I know you grew up in the hood with only a box of 8 crayons, but I grew up in the country club with a box of 64. Don't be stupid. End quote. This, my friends, is not something or a statement that can be Googled. Ask yourself, what does that mean? This to me shows that you think you are better than me and in higher rank and altogether superior to me. This to me shows that you don't give a F about me or where I come from. Oh yeah, you don't like the F word, huh? Well, guess what? I don't give a F. I didn't then, and I certainly don't now. She went on to say, do you remember you told me, quote, do you want me to tell you why you are really here? End quote. LOL, as if I didn't know. Again, showing your superiority. Let me remind you what you said in case you forgot. You told me to, quote, look in the mirror. That's the only reason you are here. And once again, y'all, she's saying that Abby said this stuff to her. And I'm showing y'all pictures as we go, but just know they're black, okay? These are black people speaking on their experience on the show. Cam told me she heard, and Cam is her daughter, Cameron, quote, they need a sprinkle of color, end quote. Poor baby. My last interview, I was asked by my producer, so how did all of that make you feel? As tears stream down my face, I look over at my 7-year-old and back at the camera and say, this is my everyday life as a black woman. This is nothing new to me. But what I'm not going to have happen is have this racist person have any part of my daughter's life as of this moment. My producer said, I need you to be okay with leaving. I said, absolutely. Kim was so upset with me. She yelled at me and said, Mom, now I don't even get to hang out with JoJo on the show. And I don't want to leave my friends. She said, Mom, you ruined it. You ruined it for me. Of course she was mad. She was 7 and I felt so bad for her. At that moment, I knew that it was more important for me to show my daughter that she has to stand up for what's right and not care about anything else. But in that interview, my little 7-year-old cried like a grown black woman and stood up and said, Mom, I understand it's not right and I want to go home too. People need to be held accountable, not just for the injustices, but for also for being a closet racist. Producers only have so much control over what a person says. Anything outside of that is free will. Today I am tired of being silent because of a contract. I am choosing to be the voice of my family and others, and you can be the voice for yours and your friends too. This post, y'all, I promise y'all, I did not even see this until I was doing research for this video. I never knew that little girl, Cameron. She was so adorable that she endured all of this throughout the series. And I'm so glad her mother took a stance about this, because if you guys do watch Dance Moms, the black girls never stay for long. And if they do, they don't get a lot of recognition no matter how talented they were. There was another young lady on the show that was on with the OG girls, Cameron as well. She was a black girl, and she herself even stated that she felt that she was always excluded from the other girls a lot of the times. And we have heard some racist allegations about some of the cast members. And even when it came to Black Patsy, who is a woman that came on the show just solely to be a racial stereotype, I think they egged her on, and her actions were very much understood when she was provoked. But the one thing I will say is that, you know, I personally wouldn't act the way that I felt the Black Patsy act, because I'm not gonna let anyone rile me up to that point. But the one thing I will say is all those other mothers acted just like Black Patsy, but she was labeled hood, she was labeled ghetto, and she was labeled a whole bunch of other derogatory slurs and terms, okay? There was a lot to unpack within that statement alone. I'm not even surprised, but Abby did come out with an apology. But at that point, her show was already gone, and that's why we haven't seen any new episodes of Dance Moms, because I think it still was getting quite a lot of views. But people took it off air because all this came out in 2020 when the Ahmaud Arbery case was going on, with the George Floyd situation, Breonna Taylor, and the Black Lives Matter movement and protests were constantly going on every single where. So she had to kiss her show goodbye. So Abby responded to these allegations that Cameron's mom, Adriana, had about her. So Abby said this in a post on Instagram: "I genuinely understand and deeply regret how my words have affected and hurt those around me in the past, particularly those in the Black community. To Cameron, Adriana, and anyone else I've hurt, I'm truly sorry. I realize that racism can come not just from hate, but also from ignorance. No matter the cause, it is harmful and it is my fault. While I cannot change the past or remove the harm I have done, I promise to educate myself, learn, grow, and do better. While I hope to one day earn your forgiveness, I recognize that words alone are not enough. I understand it takes time and genuine change." Now, Miss Abby, we all know that was your PR team. It sounded very much manufactured and disingenuous, but it's just crazy how people try to act like they don't know what racism is, and it just pisses me off. And throughout the series, Abby literally shows racism. And I'm about to get into this next part because I feel like I've seen this quite a bit when it came on the show. Abby created lots of tokenism with specifically Nia, and I'm glad that this mother called out Abby for her racism and just ignorance in general. It's a shame because when this happened to her daughter, this was years after Nia got off the show, and that just shows that this was consistently happening, and Abby chose not to educate herself and chose to only have white dancers on her show. We're gonna get into Nia now. So Nia Sue was the only Black girl on the series for 6 seasons, and she also was the original dancer on Dance Moms, and she stayed until the end of the OGs being on the show Dance Moms. Nia was constantly typecasted, ridiculed, and treated as a token. So with everything that I just said, there's evidence on the show of all of this, and they're all very shocking clips. For instance, in one episode, Nia came into class with braids in her head, and braids are what Black girls typically wear, especially that style of braiding, and Abby did not like it. Take a look at this clip.
Well, Melissa told me that you said it was rigged.
I'm entitled to my opinion because I'm 42 years old and I'm a free American citizen, so I get to say whatever I want and believe whatever I want. I stand on my credentials and my knowledge.
That's fine.
Something you can never take away.
Then fix this hair, because it's horrible.
And why don't you fix your hair and fix your face and your body and everything else?
That's fine. When I join your dance company, I'll do it.
Let's start critiquing people. Let's start with you. Look in the mirror. And you know what? I got approval for those braids when I got them put in.
Not in from my dance company, didn't it?
Yes,
It says
I
right
did.
in it.
Yes,
Do
I
not
did.
change your hair.
And you know what? I did get approval for it, and this is part of her ethnicity.
Well, it's weighing her down. It's
Ethnic
weighing her
dancer.
down.
There are 4 other people
When you
here
made
that
the bun the
are
last 3 weeks, Holly, it's like a log coming out of the side of her head. And on all this, Nia, the lunge, the arch, all of that stuff is late and sloppy. Your mother thinks you're early, you're not.
Enough is enough. If you want to fix someone up, and if you're such like a Miss Fix-It, fix yourself. Look in the mirror. Start with the woman in the mirror and leave my kid alone.
The fact that she's saying that the hair is horrible and it weighs her down is so ignorant and disgusting. Every time I see this clip, it angers me, mainly because I feel as if Holly did not defend Nia as she should. And Holly is Nia's mother, if you did not know, and she was the woman that was arguing back and forth with Abby. The way she said, let's talk about yourself, like it just felt very... I'm trying to be careful with my wordings. I did meet Miss Holly back in the day and she was so sweet, but it felt like Holly was not the right person to check Abby, because I really wish she would come to my little cousin, my nieces that don't exist yet, or anything, talking about their hair is horrible and it weighs them down. Excuse me? Child? I would have called Abby out on her racism, because sometimes you have to be very direct with racist, and I'm sure that she did not, because this was a different time. And it can be scary to speak up, especially when you're the only Black person in a room, but I do believe that we need to get better at speaking up for ourselves. I know she did say that, oh, it's a part of her African-American culture and all that, but she didn't speak well enough in my opinion. So let's talk about the Rosa Parks dance. So back in season 3, Abby decided to create a dance that was a tribute to Rosa Parks. So very clearly, since like I said, Nia was the only Black girl on the show for 6 seasons, it was very obvious who the lead of this dance would be. The only Black girl on the team, Nia. Abby decided to say that there was no obvious lead role. Take a look at this clip, y'all.
The group routine is about Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks served as a catalyst for a civil rights movement by refusing to stand up and give up her seat on a bus. Since the dance is called Rosa Parks, and obviously this is a part destined for Nia.
Don't assume anything. I have no idea who will play Rosa Parks.
really?
I absolutely want Nia to play the role of Rosa Parks. But this is the big lead role in the number this week. She has to give it her all before I'm even gonna let her know that the part is hers.
Did you see her face when she said Rosa Parks?
I know Nia was beaming.
And then she goes, make no assumptions.
Like, really?
Let's give it to one of the blondes. I don't know what Abby's thinking. I mean, clearly Nia should be the one to play Rosa Parks. Anything else would be inappropriate.
The fact that it was even questioned or even suggested there would be some form of competition to who would get this lead and that it shouldn't be implied who this lead belongs to makes absolutely no sense. Even for Abby to use it in the context of making sure Nia works hard, it was highly inappropriate, and I don't even understand why that was even suggested. That would have never flown by today. That show would have been canceled real quick if they even tried that. However, like I stated previously, it was not just Abby that would say racist remarks or show signs of racism. The moms would do it as well. Or the moms, should I say, were just purely ignorant in some instances. So in regards to this dance, Jill, who was Kendall's mom, decided to take the opportunity to use this to our advantage. She took Abby saying that it's not 100% Nia's role, Rosa Parks. She decided to try to advocate for her very much so Caucasian daughter to be Miss Rosa Parks. Take a look at the audacity in this clip.
Hi! What's Jill doing here?
I know that the role of Rosa Parks hasn't been assigned to any of the dancers yet. If she's not gonna cast Nia, it might as well be Kendall. So Abby, what's the status with Rosa Parks?
I just started the number. I didn't even get the props in the studio
Well,
yet.
that's why I asked what the status is.
You never quite know what to expect from Jill. She claims she's not sneaky, but there's always some surprise. This one over here was over there trying to pitch her daughter to Abby as being Rosa Parks. You actually asked her for that part.
Kendall never had a special part, people. I think every one of your kids has.
We think you should go down and say, you know what? I think I was mistaken. I don't think that this would be a good part for Kendall. I think Nia fits this role. Just act stupid and be like, I thought Rosa Parks was somebody different.
I don't understand why these moms are so upset over this. Here's an opportunity for my child to have a lead role, and it's driving them crazy. It would make perfect sense for Nia to play Rosa Parks. They badgered me
And
until
you came down.
I did because I had
So you just took your kid and put her on the back burner for somebody else. Nia needs to think she has competition. I can't just hand it to her on a platter. Healthy competition is good for every dancer.
I'm glad the other mothers called out Jill when she decided to do this, but in my opinion, they weren't exactly fighting for equal rights and how to treat people, and that's not okay. It was more so like, Jill, are you dumb? Rosa Parks literally is a black woman. So that's how I looked at it, because like I said, Christy and Kelly were both in that clip, and Christy has been called out for calling the Black Patsy a hood rat, whereas she's never called any of the other mothers that whenever she was arguing with them and they were being complete imbeciles. The next clip I'm going to show you is when Nia was giving a drag queen inspired dance called They Call Me Laquifa. Take a look at this clip.
Go. Nia is doing a character piece entitled Laquifa. It's sassy, it's snap and hip and head pop. See how you're like gonna fall when you finish? I don't wanna see that. Do it again. Nia is African American, and I'm trying to teach her different ethnic dances, and I'm trying to train her so that when casting call says ethnic, she can do all of the dances correctly. All right, Nia, you're gonna put this on first, sweetie. The costume is darling. It's really like a satire on the drag queen image. And it's over the top, and it's fun, and it's right up Nia's alley.
Why is my daughter the only one dressed in animal print? All the other girls get costumes that aren't typecasting them.
To top it off, Abby then says she wants Nia in an afro.
And you know what? I want her in an afro. Holly wants her daughter to be like every other little girl. Nia has an advantage over everybody else. She can play many different ethnicities. Different is good. She has what it takes, and yet Her mom wants her to be like Paige and Maddie and Chloe.
So in this episode, it shows later on Holly speaking with Christy and Kelly, two of the other moms on the show. And in this clip, Nia's mom Holly's explaining how she feels uncomfortable with Nia wearing a animal printed costume, and she's the only one wearing it, and an afro. And she basically just feels like Nia is being treated as a caricature. And this is when Kelly, who is Brooke and Paige's mom, decides to minimize Holly's feelings and say that she thinks she's being a bit dramatic.
What I took objection to was just about, I don't want to be a stereotypical from the 70s wearing an afro.
I think Holly's being a little overdramatic.
She's what happened picking cotton, might as well. Or about a scarf on her head and being Aunt Jemima. I don't want that.
Did you just say picking cotton?
Well, that's what it's like. Oh. It's the same type of thing. We have worked so hard to get beyond that. For me, it's very political. Politics is all about who has the power and who has the control.
This just shows exactly what I mean when it can be very difficult to have white friends when they don't experience what you experience. The fact that she minimized this is exactly what I'm talking about. You have no reason to try and deflect my feelings when it's something you don't go through. And you don't understand that a lot of black people, we are literally labeled as animals numerous of times. And also with her wearing the afro. Obviously, there's absolutely nothing wrong with wearing an afro, but it seemed as if Abby had some objective that she wanted to prove. I don't know, it was just a lot going on, and for you just to minimize her points, a black woman that is speaking on this, it just said a lot about Kelly in that stance, and I was honestly disappointed in her because I actually really did like Kelly. And my next point when it comes to racism, and my final point, was that Nia was constantly put on the back burner. And this had to do with a lot of the other moms. Please look at this clip and I'll share the rest of my commentary.
Why would you? How could you? I never did anything to you. How could I be so stupid? Just get away from me.
Okay, she did not take, she took the character in a different direction, which was her mother.
Sometimes it's better to go off the script, and you know, and sometimes it's those choices that actually get the job. The person who does it the way everyone else does not do it.
Did Abby really just go there? Abby ruined Nia's audition because I held Abby accountable. And it's absolutely cruel.
All right, so, Bryn, I need your first choice.
I think I'm gonna go Kalani first.
All right, Maddie.
Kendall.
Bryn.
Kenzie.
Okay, I have an idea. Since that all three of us could turn, I'm picking JoJo. I'm sorry, Nia.
It's a shame that that happened, but am I surprised? Absolutely not, because Nia's left out consistently. It's a pattern. And as a mom, you want to protect your child, but you can't protect your child from everything. Last night, Jill and Melissa took Kendall, Maddie, and Mackenzie to hang out with Tajik. And Tajik is a great director, producer, internet sensation. No one called, no one texted, there was no invite. To Nia, that's hurtful. Nia saw the Instagram post and she's like, wait a second, what's this? And she puts up a lot of garbage of Abby. Cried herself to sleep last night. Nia is a true member of the ALDC and has been here the longest, and to have something like that happen.
I have no idea what it was for.
And you didn't care to know. You didn't care to know.
I don't even know what it was. You want to say we always exclude Nia. Is
You
that
did
what
exclude
you want?
Nia.
I did not exclude Nia. I take offense to that because I did not exclude Nia.
Rather than taking ownership of your part.
My part was driving my child to meet Abby Lee Miller.
When you're like the only black girl in a group, you definitely will go through that a lot. And I feel like Nia, though she does consider a lot of the girls some of her best friends, she went through a lot because they didn't have the same experience as her. Her body is different. Her hair is different. The way she moves is different. Her culture is different. It's always different. And though the girls probably don't realize that they're excluding her, you're excluding her. And I'm glad that Holly decided to speak out about it, even if the moms want to continue to minimize her feelings. But I'm not saying that the moms were exactly racist in that standpoint or that racism was shown, but there are numerous clips where Nia Nia is constantly put last and she's never given the opportunity to really grow within herself. And I do think it's because Abby believed that Nia would not be as great because she was a black girl and not a white girl. And this is all alleged. This is just my belief from watching the series. I don't know if this is true or not, but I definitely do think that just from my own point of view. So my last point that I'm going to touch on is the constant bullying on this show. There were shocking amounts and levels of bullying throughout the series, especially from Abby. And I'm going to show you guys some clips of this that are quite astounding and shocking that a grown woman would be attacking 11, 12-year-olds all the time. Abby was always very vocal towards the girls when she was angry with them. And during an interview that Abby had, she even said that she purposely would say certain mean things because she knew that the girls could not leave. And I'm assuming she's saying she knew they couldn't leave because of their contracts. So she would just say what she wanted to say because she knew they couldn't go anywhere and she couldn't kick them out. So she was like, well, if I can't kick them out, that means that they can't go anywhere. So I'm going to say what I want to say regardless, which is appalling. Like, y'all, it's such an immature mentality and just a very vicious and mean attitude to have. But take a look at this clip.
Not throw her out of the studio. You have to let the kid back in. So then a bell went off and I thought, if they can't quit, or I mean, if I can't throw them out, they can't quit.
Right.
So no matter what I say to them, they can't quit. So I just go for it.
Many of the comments that Abby made about numerous of the girls throughout the series was incredibly insensitive, wrong, and just downright mean. For example, when Nia began her singing career and she went to get another manager instead of Abby, probably because Abby always kept her on the back burner and she felt that Abby would not be the best manager for her. Abby was very spiteful about that and she was just nasty towards Nia for no reason because of that for a couple of seasons. And when Nia decided to express how she felt throughout this time, she broke down in tears. Take a look at this clip.
What do you feel that she's held you back from?
Okay, I've been with Abby the longest, and Abby's always been really hard on me, but a few years ago, I started getting to singing, and this whole falling out happened, and then she just like really hated me for a very long time, and kind of just really wanted to crush and defeat me.
Okay, and how do you feel about that?
It was really hard. I would come
But how do you feel about that?
It's okay to show your emotions. I know. I feel like... Sorry.
That's hard.
I don't like talking about it.
Okay, I understand. Okay, Nia.
It's just awful.
No one has endured what Nia has endured.
Seeing her cry like that, y'all, like I said, as a mother, I don't know how they kept those girls on the show. And maybe they made them stick it out because they knew the benefits would be even better. But just for mental health purposes, because I'm sure the girls go to therapy to this day because of this show, I don't know if it would be exactly worth it. Another girl on the series that was constantly antagonized by Abby was Chloe, who was Christy's daughter. Abby had an extreme disdain for Christy, and she would constantly take it out on Chloe to the point it was almost hard to watch.
On the top of the pyramid, don't push it. I don't know why your mother doesn't say you have confidence. You are the cockiest kid I've ever worked with.
Isn't it ironic that Abby's tactics are very equivalent to bullying in a dance about bullying?
I'm giving you both legs straight and you're doing one bent. Do you understand? She just doesn't have a brain in her head. Move in.
I have to be very careful the battles I pick with Abby because Abby doesn't like me. She's made that perfectly clear. But when I see Chloe starting to cry and I see the tears actually on her shirt of her dancewear, I'm thinking, oh God, what is going on in there? She's an evil bitch. Chloe's crying.
I expect more from you. You should know what straight legs are. And you ignore me and you just keep going.
I'm a little upset because I didn't understand what Miss Abby was saying to me for choreography.
You're not a choreographer. Don't start being one.
And she yelled at me because I was doing another thing. She was like, you're choreographing, and I really wasn't trying to choreograph. I just didn't know what she meant.
She'll come out.
She isn't gonna come out.
You wanna go down and see?
How
You can't walk in that room.
Well, Chloe isn't gonna walk out, because then she'll get yelled at more.
You're on the top of the pyramid. Suck it up. The next kid's on speed dial to come to the studio.
And over time, Chloe began losing her passion to dance because she felt everybody was against her, primarily Abby, and felt that she was constantly being worked against. Take a look at this clip.
Watching Chloe rehearse her solo, it's apparent that she's not the same dancer she was. And it's not because of her technique. It's about her passion. And I want her to have that spunk and that fire, but she doesn't. That wasn't looking like you wanted to dance. It's gotta come from you, Chloe. I can't keep giving you the same pep talk over and over and over. I can't make you wanna dance. Whatever.
I guess I'm in a really tough situation right now because I don't really think that Miss Abby's expecting me to beat Cameron, and that's really hard to go into a dance competition like with all this pressure on you and then everyone's working against you.
So you can hear a bit in the clip what was going on. Abby had Chloe going against another girl named Cameron. There's so many Camerons on this show. But she was expecting Cameron to beat Chloe. She gave Chloe the weaker choreography. She gave Chloe the worst music. And Chloe always knew that Abby would do that, though Chloe was one of the best dancers. And she was the only girl that was very neck to neck towards Maddie competition-wise. She's beat Maddie before. So she knew that Abby would purposely give her less credit, crappy routines and music just so that she would not win. So despite Abby's efforts to make sure Chloe lost, Chloe beat the girl Cameron. And Abby proceeded to act shocked that Chloe won, didn't even congratulate her student, just said some nasty, nasty things. Abby said the unthinkable and Chloe overheard what was said. Take a look at this clip.
I cannot believe that Chloe actually beat Cameron again. I don't know how she pulled it off.
Those 5 kids in there put your fat name on the map.
No.
You were no one before these kids.
Why do you say that?
Because you think putting a couple kids on Broadway makes you someone? And guess who made you a household name? Them. Take a hike. She has more class in her little finger at 13 than you have in that big fat body at 45.
Chloe, it's finished. Your kid's washed up.
How dare you? Do you know anything about that kid? No! Gotta draw the line. Enough's enough. How low of a human being can she be? This isn't about dance. This is about human decency and how low can you go? And I don't think anybody's lower than Abby. You heard. As a mom, I can't sit by and watch this woman destroy my child anymore. She can't steal her passion. She can't steal her self-confidence. My line's been crossed. Dance isn't worth it.
So according to numerous sources when it comes to this clip, Abby actually did not say your kid's washed up. She said something even worse. Sources say Abby actually said, get your kid's eye fixed. And if you have seen clips previously, Chloe does have a bit of a lazy eye, and that's something that she cannot control. I didn't even notice she had one until I heard about this, but she did. She had a lazy eye. And the fact that a grown woman would say this to a child and that child heard, how are you even able to sleep at night? This scene is the alleged reason why Chloe and her mom Christy left in season 4. And the last incident, though there are very much so many that I'm going to bring up because this was also another incredibly shocking statement that Abby said in front of another child that literally made my mouth drop. So basically in the scene that I'm about to show you, Abby said to their rival team, the Candy Apples, which is run by Kathy, her sworn enemy throughout the series, she told a girl to get her ears pinned back. Take a look at this clip.
Hey! Here it comes. We're still celebrating. We thought we would come and bring a cake for all of you. Abby, do you want some cake? Abby, I can't even believe you just did that. Go get her. Go get her, Liza. What'd she do? Go get her, Liza. Abby, I can't believe you just did that to my daughter.
Everyone knows this girl is a beautiful dancer, but what Abby said is horrible. Abby's just mad that we lost. They came in to rub it into our faces, and Abby let her have it. It's like waking a sleeping bear. They came in poking at Abby, and Abby let her have it.
Turn around, Abby. What is wrong? Why would you do that to my daughter? I didn't do it to your daughter. I did it to you. My daughter was in there and saw that. Don't look me up and down, you whore. Why can't she just get her ears pinned back? What's the big deal?
Gotta come up with something, and that's all she could come up with. Yeah. Trust
When
me.
we watch you dance,
You're
we go,
beautiful,
"Oh."
and she knows it. Hold your head high and keep doing what you're doing, honey. You're beautiful, okay?
Abby had this girl in tears, and I feel like to this day, I would not be surprised if this girl either still has insecurities about her ears or developed insecurity about her ears at that moment. Because now it's pointed out on national television and in front of everybody. I would not be surprised if she really went and got her ears fixed because Abby said something so disgusting. And even when she was corrected by her mother, though once again, the mother did not say enough because Abby would have been hurt. That's besides the point. Abby did not even fix what she said. She said it again and basically was like, I said what I said. Y'all, the scenes are just incredibly shocking of the bullying towards children, and I'm shocked the show went on for so long, allowing things like that to happen. Alright y'all, so that is just a brief synopsis as to why I believe that Dance Moms has been so problematic over the years, though it has been entertaining as well. If you really look at the series, it's shocking and sad to see the amount of times that these girls are bullied, put in uncomfortable situations, treated horribly, etc. etc. But what upsets me the most, honestly, isn't even Abby. It's the fact that their moms allowed them to stay on the series as long as they did. And the moms would argue all the time and threaten that they're leaving, but they never would leave. I get there's contracts involved, but like, my child? My child? In my opinion, when it comes to mental health and providing for your child and make sure that they're okay, a contract can always be broken. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about the scenes that I showed you from the series Dance Moms and how you guys think that it is problematic and how it can potentially be fixed. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Please comment down below once again your opinions when it comes to my commentary. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.